Women of Reddit, what is the grossest thing a man has said to you? My male co-worker told me that sometimes the drainage system to the shellfish meat freezers at his old workplace would clog up with old fish juice runoff and he would have to fix it by sucking on the drain tube to get it flowing again. And that sometimes he would get old fish meat cooler juice in his mouth doing so. I almost puked hearing that. I was about 23. I'm 4 feet 11, about 120 pounds. I was a lead at a small building, but corporate, retail store. An electrician came in and my store leader paged me to let him into the electrical room in the back. It's a fairly small room that's kept locked. I unlock the door with my keys and let him into the room and he turns to me and says they should never have sent a little one like you back here with me. I could have my way with you and you couldn't do anything about it. It scared me to death and I essentially ran out and found my manager, who honestly was a dick, but for totally non-sexual reasons, and he apologized to me sincerely that the man spoke to me like that. My manager was rather aggressive for the rest of the time he was there. Didn't say anything to him outright about what he said, but he definitely made the guy aware that he knew he was a piece of shit. It seriously scared me so much. He was perfectly respectable looking and said it in like a matter of fact but serious way, like a warning. Girls like you get raped, said to me and cousin when we were 11 and 15 years old. We were playing with a huge chess set in the town square and he was watching us. He had been sitting mumbling and staring before this loud declaration. We called my dad to come get us after he continued talking loudly about us to himself. According to my dad, he was harmless but not mentally well. I feel like your dad absolutely didn't think he was harmless, but said so to try and avoid the both of you walking away from this traumatized, afraid of every slightly off guy I'd come across. Could be completely wrong on this, of course. I was working at a hardware store and helping a guy when a female co-worker walked by. He said, I would eat a yard of her shit just to lick the bowl. I will probably never forget that. I wore a smaller size of my uniform top to school once because my normal one was stained with coffee. A guy classmate walked up to me and said, I bet you'll love when I rip that off you and rape you, won't you? I reported him to the teacher and wore hoodies for the rest of the school years. He got suspended and had to apologize in front of the whole cohort and he never approached me again. Whoa, that's probably the first time I heard that a school did something effective against the bully. Yeah, but it did take a long time since they did it because it ended up on our nation's news account, so they did it to silence people. You should get a tattoo on each thigh, Thanksgiving on one, and Christmas on the other. This way, people can eat between the holidays. My 30-something neighbor to 12-yo me. That man should be slapped in the face. I was like 12 and accidentally caught my uncle watching porn. I left as fast as I could, but he told me to come into his room and he jittered me to his lap and he hugged me while it played. He watched it. I just looked at the floor and said I was going back outside to play with my sisters. All he said was he could show me how to do the stuff in the video. This might be the worst one here. I'm terribly sorry and hope you are okay. Happened while working. I was doing an inspection at one of those bars clubs for veterans. I was walking around the bar area with my flashlight when this guy, late 60s 70s, said, let me unzip my pants for you to check. My smartest mouth immediately replied, this is a flashlight, not a magnifying glass. Either his hearing sucked or the music was a bit too loud, so luckily he didn't hear me or I probably would have been in deep shit with my supervisor. Too bad he didn't hear. That's the perfect response. Man, I wish I could think on my feet like that. I always think of something good to say when it's too late. Same. Then I think about it in the shower every day why I never said that thing. A male friend who was a year older than me whispered to my ear while he back hugged me, I'm gonna rape you. I started avoiding him after that and he said it was just a joke and kept apologizing. In what conceivable way could that have been taken as funny? I had been dating a guy for a few weeks and out of the blue he said that he wasn't actually attracted to me, so he didn't want to date me anymore, but he wanted to keep fucking me. Oh, but he wouldn't be using condoms. When I was 16, me and my sister were walking in the mall and we stopped to get food. While we were waiting for our food court sushi to be ready, I overheard this group of guys talking. One goes, bet I can get the fattest, most ugly chick to have sex with me. They laughed and all started talking about how they think he couldn't. Then someone replied with fine then right there it was me. Of course it was me. He came up to me and put his arm around my shoulder and asked me what my name was while calling me girly. Me at the time being in panic mode told him my name. He proceeded to ask me if I would want to fuck him. I just walked away. I was in disbelief that what happened just happened. There are so many levels of horribleness in your story that it made me sad. How it made you feel, I can't imagine. Hope you got your revenge through having the good life you deserve. I was writing up a menu on a blackboard at a cafe. A regular said great. That's where you belong. On your knees wish I had verse snapped back but I was too shocked to reply to his fuck remark. Same thing happened to me once when I was stocking shelves at my local grocery store. I went all in on that man. Then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, mom. That's not what I meant. What the fuck else did you mean then? You short, old, greasy weirdo? Question mark?" I made damn sure he walked away feeling ashamed of himself. I hope that never happens to you again. If it does, I hope that you're not too shocked to rip him a new one. Publicly shaming them seems to be one of the only things that embarrasses these men. I was 18 and serving an old guy by taking him to his table and talking with him as a hostess should, and I asked him if he had any other plans for the night. And he looked me up and down and said in a very serious tone and face, "Well, you are still dressed, so nothing yet." I was so grossed out. I laughed it off and walked away as fast as possible after getting him to his table. Not haha funny, haha weird. Not a female, but I was talking to a guy from work and he saw a little girl walking by. He was watching her very closely and I spoke up. He turned to me and said, "Old enough to bleed, old enough to breed." He got arrested shortly after for sexual offenses. Old enough to bleed, old enough to breed, old enough to crack a brick in your teeth while you sleep. Diane Tward. Was at work wearing a red shirt with the word sale on it because our department store was having a sale. I was putting through a man's items at the registers and he asked me when I finished work and how long I was on sale for, with the most disgusting smile on his face, like he actually thought he was being clever. At that same job I was working the floor and an old man asked me if I would assist him in taking off his pants to try on the new ones in the changing rooms, right in front of his wife. I was 18 at the time and absolutely disgusted. I asked a male co-worker if he was okay standing at the host stand while I ran to the bathroom and he responded with, "Only if you give me a kiss when you get back." I had talked to this guy maybe twice, only about work, and had to process what he said. It wasn't that gross until he actually tried to kiss me when I was back. On behalf of the non-creepo males out there, if ever a knee to the nuts was deserved, this was it. I had a very unattractive man crack onto me when I was around 17. The guy was in his 60s, very fat, smelled appalling, had a gross beard with food remnants in it, and he knew I hated him. He asked me about having a nap and said I should have come to snuggle with him. I said nope and he said, "Why not? I'm single and don't have any diseases." Like those two things were what was holding me back from jumping him. I got up and left the room. That wasn't even the last time he propositioned me. He was a disgusting human and I hope I never have to see him again. I'm a natural redhead, long auburn hair with curls that I've always had and wanted attention for. I remember I was 9 years old and sitting in a Chinese restaurant with my family when a male middle-aged waiter came to take our food and started complimenting my hair, which was fine and all, but he started touching it and massaging my scalp and shoulders, saying how I was so beautiful. This didn't seem to weird out my parents, but it made me very uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything because I was scared in case my parents would tell me that I was being rude. Probably not the grossest thing on this list, but the fact it was done to a 9-year-old little girl makes it downright creepy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit videos.